This is Off the Court with OG. I'm your host, Kristian Cuaresma. On episode 13, in addition to having NetsGC General Manager and Head Coach OG King Curt, we're also excited to have Shotz and Doctor fresh off their protection from the upcoming expansion draft of the NBA 2K League. Before we get started, let's show some love to who made this episode possible, and that's Zenny Blocks. Make sure to armor your eyes with Zenny Blocks virtually clear blue blockers. As gamers, we know you're spending hours in front of a screen perfecting your craft, so it's important to protect your eyes from any harmful blue light. Zenny Blocks will help reduce eye strain and improve sleep, ultimately leading to better performance on the sticks. Check them out at zenny.com/gaming and follow Zenny Gaming on Twitter and IG. Make sure to also follow Nets Gaming Crew on all social platforms. That way you stay up to date. And without further ado, let's get the show started. So this is pretty cool. Episode 13 of Off the Court with OG, of course, brought to you by Zenny Blocks, is a very special installment of the show because making their debut are none other than Shotz and The Doctor. Guys, welcome to the show. And more importantly, welcome back to Brooklyn. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for welcoming me back. I'm excited to be back. So doing all good though, just going through the off season, grind and motion as usual. So
yeah, I've been doing good. Really excited to come back next year. Yeah, thanks for having us on.
For sure. For those who aren't familiar with these guys, Shotz obviously entering his 5th season and is widely regarded as one of the best centers in the world. Was also named to last year's Eastern Conference All-Star team. Meanwhile, Faiz will be embarking on his sophomore season, and he finished his rookie year as one of the most efficient shooting guards in the entire league. For those not familiar with the process, each of the teams in the NBA 2K League were able to protect a number of players from the upcoming expansion draft. Curt, let's start with you. Talk to me about these two individuals, what you saw from them last year, and why you're excited to bring them back for season 5.
I mean, it's funny. I mean, because like if you see the personalities of these guys, they talk about how excited they are to be back. It don't always look like it, but you know that you know it. I mean, you just because knowing who they are. But no, Shotz. When we got them, we knew what we were getting. I mean, didn't know everything, but we knew on the court, we knew how special he was and how he could be. And I think over time, just building a relationship with him and watching his work ethic. Not only in the studio, but obviously outside the studio. I mean, he looks like a brand new human being, and in the process, he inspired me as well. But no, it's just I think he finally found a place where he's comfortable, and that he can call home. And I think when you get a player of his magnitude, and you get him comfortable, and you get him in a place where he can really thrive, that's when the best comes out. So I mean, he's been in the league since its inception, and now he accomplished more with us than he did with any other team, and that speaks volumes. And I'm just glad to have him. Doc, on the other hand, probably if not one of the most cerebral 2K players in the world. If you know him, you know that. If you don't know him, you probably don't know that. But very smart, knows how to play the game. Showed us a lot of what he can do throughout the season. He played shooting guard at a high level, but also played lock at a high level. I think he could play pretty much anything if we needed him to play it. But I think you saw flashes of greatness, and I think this upcoming season you'll probably see more of what he can do. I think he's going to be comfortable. He knows where he's at. He knows he's back, and I think you're going to see the Doctor, go to work.
I'm excited. I'm getting hyped for season 5. Shotz, will kind of pivot to you here. First off, We got to get some of these pictures updated on like socials with what 2K League is using, because it's not doing you justice, man. I know you understand.
I agree.
Last time you and I spoke, it was early in season 4, and a big part of our conversation revolved around this like fascinating narrative that even though you've been one of the best players in the entire league, you had yet to play for a franchise for 2 consecutive seasons. How does it feel to finally get to experience that?
I mean, it feels great. Just bouncing around like team to team, it got old pretty quick. And I did it, 3 years in a row. So my goal kind of like when I came to the Nets, like, I want to make it work. And I wanted to, stick around with the team. Like I never had experienced it. Doc's going to be the first teammate that I'll ever play with more than one season in the league. So it's nice to at least have familiar faces around. Like usually at this time of the year, it's time to meet new people again and new teammates. So just to have some familiar faces around, it's really comfortable. And obviously I'm happy to be back. Like Curt said, I don't show it a whole lot, but I couldn't be more excited to be back.
You talk about like meeting new people, all these new faces, new names, but the people that have remained constant around you is your support system, your family, right? Obviously, you have known for quite some time now that you're coming back to Brooklyn. I want to talk about your father in particular, who you have a podcast with. He is so involved with following the league. What did that conversation look like or sound like with him when you told him, hey, I'm finally coming back to a team?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like something that during the season, like I'm pretty sure I'm gonna come back next year. Like it's kind of like, it's not like it really happened recently, like it was official. But I had a pretty good feeling, I'm gonna come back. Like things are going, like I have a really good relationship with Curt and everyone on the team. So I was confident that I was gonna be coming back. So I mean, we had that discussion throughout the season, like it'd be good for you to go back. And he's, like you say, he's big time supporter. Like he's always supported me. So no matter like what I do, even if it's 2K or not, but even in the league, he supported every team I've been on and all different moves. So yeah, he's just like me. He's happy that I'm staying on the same team for once. So it's going to be a new experience, but it's going to be a lot of fun for sure, just to come back.
Yeah, if you guys haven't already, make sure to check out the Shotz and Pops podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. A great show about the 2K League and their thoughts on other sports as well. Doc, we'll move to you next. I got to ask, where did the nickname come from, and when are we going to get an official nickname change so the 2K League broadcast start using it?
As far as an official nickname change, I'm not sure, but the nickname came from my old gamer tag. A couple of years ago when I used to be in Eyeball, my name was Eyeball Doctor, and then I just decided to rebrand to my real name for whatever reason. Yeah, so that's where the nickname comes from.
Awesome. You had a really, like Curt had mentioned earlier, you had a really interesting season in season 4, drafted to play sharp, you moved to lock, sometimes from hash, sometimes from the corner. There are a lot of unexpected plot twists along the way. But like I asked Shotz, talk to me about the moment you heard from Curt that you were officially coming back and what went through your mind.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was awesome. Like Curt and Shotz say, I mean, I'm not someone who really shows all that much excitement, but I mean, I love playing there. I love playing under Curt. I love playing with Shotz. I mean, I feel like we had a pretty good season. I feel like we're always going to be competitive as long as this core is together. So, I mean, I was super excited. My whole family was super excited. I mean, we love being in Brooklyn.
Yeah, it was a really good season indeed. The best season in franchise history. You two were a part of that. Another one, Doctor. I mentioned how unpredictable your season was. What did you learn about yourself last year as a 2K player? And if you didn't learn anything, what are you hoping other people realize about your game headed into season 5?
Oh, well, first of all, I had never played lock before. That was something I'd never done. I had never really played point guard before in a game of that kind of magnitude when I was forced to sub in. So I think last year was just a really big year for me in terms of like gaining confidence in myself as a player. I think next year I'm going to be a lot more comfortable. I'm going to have a lot bigger season next year. And I think people are going to start to notice that whenever we get on the court.
Awesome. Like I said, Totally hyped for season 5. Guys, we know Brooklyn is basketball crazy, so let's take a slight detour here to dip into the Off the Court with OG mailbag, which gives the best fan base in the NBA 2K League a chance to kind of take over my seat here as host. After all, Nets gaming crew is made up of more than just the players. They are truly the 6th off the bench. So going into our mailbag, guys, one of our followers named Dale, he wrote, I just watched Off the Court episode 12. I've been playing NBA 2K since Sega Dreamcast. I don't have a Pro-Am team. However, I play Rec Center games on Xbox. Do you guys have any advice on making the league? That would be greatly appreciated. I did attend the ticket in Orlando a couple of years ago, and it was a great experience. So, Shotz, Doctor, how should Dale go about taking that first step? Because I know that first step can be very intimidating to newcomers.
Yeah, I would probably say the first thing is you're going to have to play Pro-Am. I don't think like it's possible, really, honestly, to get drafted without playing Pro-Am. You got to get on a team, either, you can go on Twitter, look for a team. You got to, join one of these leagues. You got to get your name out there. Like, playing rec is cool, but it won't get you, enough attention, or, no one will really care, like, if you're going off in the rec. Like, it's fun and all that, but you got to play competitively and get your name out there, because there's hundreds of guys out there playing Pro-Am trying to make the league. So the first thing I would say would be get a team, get on social media, try to put yourself out there, record, plays, make, the plays you make, record them, highlight them, save them. Just anything, really. You just got to get your name out there, but you're going to have to play Pro-Am, because I don't think it'd be possible to make the league without playing Pro-Am. So.
Yeah, like Shot said, for someone who's a beginner, you just got to kind of jump right in, stream all your games, get in as many leagues as you can, just get on the court as much as you possibly can, play against the best people, and, let people know if you're playing good, post your clips, save your clips, stream your games. And if you're performing, people are going to notice you. So the best way is really to just get in as many leagues as you possibly can for Pro-Am and just perform.
Great advice. Dale, thank you again for reaching out to the mailbag. You guys can do so on future episodes as well. I'll drop the information at the end of the episode. One final question for Shotz and Doc, and then we'll wrap things up here with you, Curt. Just kind of maybe building off Dale's question, with how the league is currently set up, someone's longevity in the league is never really guaranteed, right? Someone's career isn't always promised to be a long one. A player's future isn't always going to be clear. So, Shotz, you've earned a spot in this league 5 times now. Doc, you're coming back for your 2nd season. So my question is it sometimes tricky to not worry about your future in the league while you're presently playing games? Like, what advice would you have for this year's crop of rookies who want to follow in your footsteps, not just make the league, but also get protected, get retained?
That's a good question. I would probably say first thing, just do you, like, play your game. Like, if you're going to go out there and you're going to perform, there's a good chance you'll get brought back. And kind of tied to that, you got to be a good teammate. You got to get along with your teammates. You got to just be, positive, pretty much vibes for the team. Like, no one's going to want to keep around a guy that is hard to work with. So just getting along with your teammates, whether, that's on the court or off the court, just being a good teammate. And winning helps. So if you go in and you play good and you're winning games, that's going to help. So you see most of the teams that do good bring back, a few players, 3 or maybe 4. So and even it's unpredictable. Like, you can have a really good season, not get retained. It's happened before. There's not that many spots. There's a lot of spots in the league, but not really if you really think about it. It's 100 plus, but there's hundreds of guys trying to make those 100 and some spots. So it really just play your game. Like, if it happens, you get retained. I wouldn't force it. Just go out there, play your game, and if you're good enough and if you come in with the right attitude, then you're gonna have no issues.
Doc, what about you? Is it something that kind of lingers in the back of your head, or do you just try and kind of phase that out?
Yeah, it's definitely always there. You try not to really think about stuff like that when you're in the league. Like Shot said, you kind of try to just be a good teammate, be a good person, do your job. If you're one of the main people on your team that is performing really well, and at the end of the season, the team happens to feel that way, then you're going to get brought back. But at the end of the day, it is really stressful, especially for someone who's never gone through that before. Because it is a performance-based league. Like, every game, if you're not doing your job, then there's not really a great chance that you're going to have the opportunity to do your job going forward. So, I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of worry, but you try not to think about stuff like that. You just try more to focus on the task at hand.
Curt, we'll wrap up with you. It's a bit of a different show for you and I, but you started the show. You're gonna wrap things up here for us. The team has, these two gentlemen in these two pieces in place, with obviously a very, very important position at PG being up for grabs. Now that Chalk isn't on the team, so for all the prospects out there right now, grinding night in, night out, let them know some of the things you'll be looking for in a future member of Nets gaming crew.
Well, first and foremost, I mean, we went under construction at NetsGC, and we we went under growth properties last January, and through that process, we built out, what NetsGC will represent, and our core values is honesty, hard work, and accountability. And that was something that was built between me and YL and Cooney before he left, who's now with Pistons GT. And, a lot of people think about the talent aspect, as they should. I mean, in order to be competitive, you have to have players that can play, but then also you have to stand for more than just that. And that's where when we came up with the honesty, hard work, and accountability. And that's the character of the player is always going to hold more weight at the end of the day. Now, I'm not saying that there's no exceptions to the rule or anything like that, because I think I've shown over the years that I'm a GM that's willing to work with my players and help them grow in areas that I can. And I think I've done a pretty good job at that. Unfortunately, some things have happened, and hopefully those players have learned and grew from it and grow from it. But I think that's going to be the most important. So you might want to get to know these two guys. I mean, really, I'm a player's coach at the end of the day. Nobody who has played for me can say any different. Like I have a large, tremendous amount of respect for my players and their knowledge and their thoughts and what they think, and I roll with it. And sometimes it's bit me it's probably bit me in a butt, and then sometimes you look where we went last year. So I think just having an understanding of being good at the game, of course, but being a good person and understanding why you really want to be a part of the 2K League and why would you want to be a part of Brooklyn. I think those things are more important than anything, because there's a lot of players out here who can play the game. Like they can possibly be good. Like we've seen spurts and stints where some players come in, they play for a second and then they're out. You have Cooks Iverson, who came in and had a phenomenal run while he was in. You've seen Killy come back in and back and forth. So there are a lot of players who can play the game. But at the end of the day, can you play the game? Like, and that's I think where a lot of players have to grow up fast and become a part of a unit and of a team. Sometimes your opinions and thoughts are not going to be above. It's never going to be above the org and the team. And I think the quicker a lot of players understand that, the easier it is for you to thrive and stay in the league. Because one thing, players talk about making it, but hardly do a lot of players talk about, staying. Like, what it takes to actually stay. Because in order for you to achieve longevity, you have to be adaptable. And that means it's going to be some situations you like, some situations you don't like, but you have to be able to push through and be successful. And I think these two players that, we protected and that we're going to keep, it definitely, they exemplify that. And I think we're gonna do our due diligence and find 3 players that are going to be about what we stand for and want to play with these guys and want to grow with these guys and want to accept, my leadership and continue to move forward. I think NetsGC has always been a team that has been doubted, every year. Like, I had 2 all-star players, and we still was never we wasn't supposed to make the playoffs. Like we wasn't supposed to do anything. So it's like, I can't help but to be optimistic. And if I can get 5 players that's optimistic and that want to grow and believe in each other and play for each other and represent themselves in the organization to the utmost, I think we'll continue to build and be who we have been over the last couple seasons.
Yeah, I mean, I think I speak for all fans and followers of NetsGC when I say, we're excited to kind of see what happens next. Season 5, big things to happen, big things to come. Obviously, it starts with these two, Doctor, Shotz, but that does it here for us on Off the Court with OG, a very special episode 13. Curt, Shotz, Doc, appreciate you guys for finding the time. Congrats again. Welcome back to Brooklyn. Let's get it going. Let's get it popping.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us on.
Like always, Kristian, thanks for having me. Shotz, Doc, we got work to do, but I'm glad to be doing it with you guys. So continue to enjoy your off season, and we'll be back at work before you know it.
Again, a quick thank you to Shotz, Doctor, and of course, Curt for joining us on this week's show. Remember to hit us up on the OTC Mailbag by emailing us your questions at netsgcmailbag@bseglobal.net. Make sure to follow Nets Gaming Crew on all social platforms to find out who will be joining Brooklyn in the upcoming season of the NBA 2K League. On behalf of everyone in the organization, thank you for tuning in. I'm Kristian Cuaresma, and we'll talk again next time on Off the Court with OG.